You are now tuned in to Queen Tone, a podcast where all women, especially Black women, are invited to share their thoughts, opinions, and experiences with the world without being asked to check their tone. This is a safe space to tune in to hear two millennial women's take on social, political, comedic, and straight up what the fuck topics every other week, where we bring it to you straight, no chaser. Because let's be real, it's usually never actually the tone that's too loud, but rather the truth. I'm Dana, a Detroit player paid for being a nerd with my tech savviness and product mindset, but known for my love of 90s R&B, comedic wit, and very on-brand Capricorn lifestyle.
And I'm Nita, paid for being a bad bitch and improving people's lives, but also known for my ability to speak truth to power and dance to the beat of my own drum. Real Aquarius shit. And this is Queen Tone.
Queen Tone. It doesn't even sound Queen. Queen.
Is this thing on?
Oh, hey y'all.
Me, Queen Tone.
Hi.
Yes, this is Dana and Nina. We've been gone for a minute.
I'm an Aquarius. I'm an urban planner.
I like long walks on the beach.
You may remember me from that podcast called Queen Tone.
Right. We have been in the game for a year when this podcast
We have.
drops. It's been a year, which is crazy. That has been a year. Yeah. So we're laughing because we know it's been a while, but we don't get paid for this. We do this for our own personal joy. So it's going to be sporadic. We like to keep you on your toes. But we are back for a year. We're trying to think of what's a good way to really, reflect on this year, both like with having this podcast and then just this year of being in a pandemic, whether everyone believes it or not that we're in one. I believe that we're in one.
We are still in the pandemic is current tense, not past tense.
Yes.
Yes. I feel like I hear, and even sometimes mistakenly say, oh, during COVID, but it's like currently COVID is the girl. Like, she's still the girl.
Yeah.
She's still out there.
She's still on stage. Like, it's still her set. She has not left.
Right. She's initiating new girls every day. They're expanding, having chapters,
Yes.
Different chapters, different variants, new steps.
Are we on double Greek letters yet?
I feel like we're about to be. Like, all the single letters are establishing themselves across the country.
We're about to get the
a lot of time
double letter.
Yeah, but I feel like they're about to get into the double letters. They're really growing their sisterhood.
That's wild.
And doing what they came to do.
This is we don't have anything planned. We're just catching up and talking, because I also feel like I haven't talked to you in a while. Because life be life.
Because we've literally been busy. Like, when was the last time we had an actual conversation? I mean, like, we still have conversations from there, here and there, but yeah,
I feel like those are more like logistical, or like, that.
Oh, by the way, this needs to happen on Thursday, or we're coming into town or whatever. But yeah, not like our long drawn out conversations like usual.
Yes, I have a gripe. I'm actually pissed because, I've definitely slowed down because we are in a panini, less travel, less like going to different public events, whatever. And if you know me, you know that I love live music, specifically R&B. So the two events that I had planned to go to this year, the first one was R&B only, which is like, if you're familiar with like a grits and biscuits, or kind of, like a party that travels to different cities, but they play only R&B music and you can just sing.
Have I been to R&B only?
I went to one in Seattle, and it was wonderful because it's just R&B music and you're just singing and vibing. I was supposed to go with my friend, with Tangi, who was going to come down in Brooklyn. They postponed it into New Year's Eve, basically because niggas wasn't vaccinated.
Oh.
So I was hurt. Like, this was supposed to be a weekend ago. A week ago. I was hurt, but I was like, you know what? I still got something else coming up in at the end of October. The Her Music Festival, Lights On, which had Her, Ari Lennox, Maxwell, like basically everybody who's hot in R&B, except for Jasmine Sullivan. looked on Instagram yesterday before Instagram went down. That shit is fucking canceled. Maybe it'll happen in 2022. My friend Darian was coming to town for us to go, and that got canceled too. So the two things that I was gonna do to actually go outside and do got canceled, but all this other shit is still going on. So maybe we just gonna go to Tulum like everybody else.
Yeah, I mean, just throw it out the window at this point.
But like, my feelings are hurt. I feel personally attacked. Like,
no, yeah, that does suck. I did see that post that her put up.
Like I was pouting yesterday. My grown ass was pouting because,
like, what the fuck?
I was sad. Like I just want to scream R&B at the top of my lungs.
Go to a live concert. My first live concert of COVID was actually a Tinashe concert. You know, this is my second time seeing Tinashe. Mm-hmm. Love the 333 album. So when the tickets went on sale, I was like, you know what, I'm gonna go. Me and my homegirl Amber went. Nobody had on mask. It was at the House of Blues in Chicago.
Oh my goodness.
Not one mask.
I've had some time
I had on my mask and Amber had on her mask. But the mask wearing was very you repurpose wait, I'm sorry, y'all.
Yes, I do.
Dana just drank empty Simply lemonade bottle filled with water, which I'm assuming is cold, which I'm assuming she's using as some type of like what do they call it? A carafe. A
carafe, yes.
But
I mean, it's a water bottle.
The label's still on it. She's drinking it like it's a gallon of water. Like the niggas that you see working out in fucking Planet Fitness. And I just can't. You can take the girl out the hood, but you cannot take the hood out the girl.
I mean, it's just recycling. I'm trying to save this godforsaken planet.
You upcycle. You're right. You upcycled the Simply lemonade bottle.
Yeah.
Anyway,
because I mean, I'm still working from home, so it's like I would literally drink 7 different bottles of water. Mm-hmm. And my glass, I could drink this in one.
Yeah,
gulp. So
I get it. I have like a very large cup from Jason's.
The gas station. Oh, I'm about to say, you remember Taco Bell used to have them cups.
Oh yeah,
we stayed with them.
They did. No, this is from Jason's Deli, which is like a local sandwich shop to Chicago. Anyway, sidebar.
I also have a gallon handle bar too, but I guess that can get distracting for work. But yeah.
Her mic was on. Baby girl's mic was on. Baby girl was dancing. I was entertained, just like I was the first time I saw her.
Did she bring out the trampoline?
Oh yes, I got
bouncing?
It on video.
Okay.
She did the trampoline stint again, microphone on. I was impressed. I had a good time. I did not catch COVID, thank God. And yeah, and then my next 2 concerts, I have one for her, HER, or AKA her, sometime the last week of October, and then me, you, and
I'm sick.
And
oh yeah,
we start going to the Millennium Tour.
That's right.
Did you see Little Fizz?
Little Fizz apologizing?
Now we all know that Omarion wrote that apology. Who the fuck?
Yes.
First of all,
Omarion said, "You want to go on tour? Your ass better apologize."
Really that money, bro.
Yes.
There's no way, even because I mean, Lil Fizz was wrong. Like we all know it, right?
Yes.
But he stood in that wrongness for years.
We wasn't really friends. We was blah blah blah.
Exactly. That wasn't my friend for real. I wouldn't even spit on him if he was on fire. Like all this shit. And then now you're on stage saying I'm a snake. I was a snake. That was some snake shit. I apologize to my bro. And then you break out into song. I don't buy it. I don't buy it. They just say you needed a check, and let's keep it moving.
It definitely needed a check. Because first of all, and mind you, back in the heyday of B2K when we were middle school, high school, I was team Lil Fizz all the way, all the way. But Omarion is the talented one. Like, to have a solo career. It's amazing to me that Lil Fizz I guess he was on what's the reality show, Feeling Himself, but like
Love and Hip Hop.
Yeah, like whatever, dude. I see you at the show doing your little bump steps.
Bump.
Yeah. So I forgot about that concert. So that's good, something to look to. But I'm pissed. I thought I was seeing her at the Lights On, and apparently it's fucking lights off for us.
Well, that's that. There's probably still tickets for here.
They should have did, because she did Lights On in Concord,
California, somewhere else in Vegas, right?
I feel like
it was in Las Vegas or something.
No, it was in California.
Oh, okay.
They should have flipped it, because the one in Brooklyn's in Barclays, and I'm pretty sure they canceled it because it's inside. It was outside in California. And I feel like that's about to happen. You know, it gets cold in New York.
Yeah.
So, and we have it where you have to show proof of vaccination to get in a lot of places, unless you're going somewhere outside. But even then, I feel like I could lie. I could show a picture of somebody else. Like, it's not.
Yeah. I mean, on the flip side of that, though, niggas who are selling and or buying those fake cards, the feds are watching.
Yeah.
Like literally, the feds are watching you.
Yes.
I'm not being funny. Do not sell fake cards. Do not buy fake cards. The feds are watching you.
Just like them PPP loans.
Y'all niggas got to pay that back now. Ooh. Or go to jail. Go to jail. I hope y'all.
So at least you got options.
I mean, I guess at least it's a white collar crime and not violent crime. Like, so it's like probably a low maximum prison. I mean, I don't know if these are all questions. or is that only for white people? I think that's only for white people.
Yeah, because I'm sure they would stack some other shit if you a nigga to like stay in there a little bit longer.
So I was out here buying Bugattis.
A whole bunch of dumb shit. Like, I feel like shit. If I were to on some OJ shit, I didn't do it. But if I were to do it, I feel like I would have been, I don't know, like making sure that money can multiply, like making sure it could actually do something, as opposed to buying a whole bunch of material shit that can get repossessed. You know, like, I don't know.
Yeah, that was really dumb. I mean, niggas was doing PPP loans, and then we went from PPP loans to the crate challenge, and I'm just not sure which was first. I'm honestly, with y'all filling up fucking ICU beds, in the middle of a pandemic because y'all want to get on crates. The shootings that happened while people, like literal drive-bys, while people were on crates, when people got shot. I can do
is shake my head. Like, and then it's like adults were doing like, I feel like I'm at a point where I realize, wow, I can really hurt myself doing simple shit that when I was younger I wouldn't actually like hurt like, I'm recovering from a knee injury from, I still don't know what I actually did besides just moving my body. I sprained my thumb from like sitting down on the floor too fast. Just simple shit, but y'all was on crates. What else has been happening since we've been stressed?
Did
you watch Squid Games?
I did not. You know, I can't do blood and guts. But what I did do is watch the YouTube video about Squid Games. Great show. Great show. I know what happens. I know the twist.
You sound like the niggas that be like, I'm doing my research.
Yeah.
And you was just watch the YouTube video.
Pretty fucking much. All I did was watch the YouTube video. And I was like, wow, this is a good show. I'm not watching this though. Because I can't do the blood and guts.
It was a good show. I realized I think I am not completely desensitized, because it was a lot of blood and guts, and I realized I was just close my eyes. Because after a while, if y'all haven't watched Squid Games, it's good. It's on Netflix. It's a Korean film. I actually heard on Twitter and TikTok a lot of people who could speak Korean were actually saying like,
I saw
Netflix has done a horrible job of doing translation, because like the writers, it was a very well written show. And basically Netflix doesn't really care about
of certain characters and like being low class and like having that be like why they're saying certain things a certain way, and then it's like watering it down to like, I think I saw an example where it was like what she really said was I'm smart, right? I was smart, but I just didn't have enough money to go to school. And then but the English translation was like, I'm not that smart,
Yeah, basically it sounded like she was calling herself dumb as opposed to her saying, I'm actually very smart. It's just these other things disadvantage me. So then after reading that, I'm like, man, I didn't watch the same show as people who actually speak Korean.
Language, yeah.
Yeah, understand it. But even with the horrible translation, it was still like a very much so good show to the point that I was like binging going through each episode.
That's how it just was.
I definitely recommend it.
Made, I binged it in like a day, 10 episodes.
Is it sad? Because the description was like, I don't want to watch people struggle. I mean, I also watch people die.
So I wouldn't say it was sad. Like, there was no point where I was like, oh man, I'm gonna cry. But it's it's a good story about basically how being poor is expensive. You know how we always say that, like being poor is expensive.
Yeah.
And it's nice that it's focused on a white person, like. That instead of it being like stereotypical, like, oh, Black girl from the hood, single mom on like all these government assistance, is like this white woman. I think it's placed in like outside of Seattle.
Okay.
And she's in an abusive relationship, but not physically abusive, emotionally abusive, which is also another nuance of like, oh, you can get certain services, but you can't get these services because, you know, just he didn't beat your ass.
He not beat your ass.
So why are you even here for these? So it has some really good conversations. What is her name? The princess, the black princess, the only
Nika Noni Rose.
Yeah, she's in it, and she plays a rich Black woman, which I also like that dynamic. And she's like, the white girl is the maid for her, and some of the conversations they have and the nuances of like that class divide. I think it's a really good show. I was like, wow, this needs to win Emmys next year. Like this is well written. I really enjoyed it. I felt like it explored a lot of the shortfalls of public assistance in a lot of ways. Like you see, like her being like, okay, if I work too many hours, you know, I'm not going to be able to get my child care, but I also still can't afford my child care. And she's like, it was one scene where she's like, y'all want me to do all this stuff, but at the end of the day, after I pay for all this, I have $7 for the month to like buy stuff. And this is like impossible. So I thought it was a good show.
You know what else is a good show that needs to win all the awards? Scenes from a Marriage on HBO. Have you watched that?
I haven't seen it. I heard mixed reviews. I need to stop listening to NPR because NPR pop out happy hour. What is it called? Pop Culture Happy Hour. Yeah, they didn't have great things to say about it.
So if you like dialogue, I like dialogue. Very, very well written dialogue. I feel like the acting is just superb, kind of like the nuances of how so it's a remake. I think it's originally French. It's a limited series, so it's only one more episode. So it's only 5 episodes on HBO. And you watch various scenes as like this marriage kind of crumbles. So like various things and it pieces together. So I think it's like over 2 years. And it's literally a scene as if it's, you know, act 2 scene, whatever. Yeah. But it's not.
Well, it's based on a movie. It's based on a movie that came out in like the 70s.
Yeah. I think it's French or German or something like that. Yeah. But it's just it's like, I feel like the same people who had mixed reviews about Malcolm and Marie, it could go for this too, of like, oh, this isn't how an argument would actually happen, blah, blah. I think these arguments are actually more relatable. I told my mom she should watch it, and she was like, why do I want to watch other people in a marriage argue when I could just turn a camera on in my house and like see the shit?
I'm doing that with your daddy right now.
Right, in real time. But I think it's good. Oscar Isaac and I forgot the woman's name, redhead.
No. I forget her name.
Jessica Chastain or something.
Yeah, Chastain. Yeah. You know, they went to Juilliard or Yale, one of those prestigious acting schools together. So they're like classmates. And actually, I forget the girl. Okay, yeah, my thoughts are so jumbled right now. Forgive us. But somebody else was supposed to be the lead. The girl who was married to the guy who died.
What the fuck?
I think her name is Michelle Williams. She was married. He was.
Oh, Heath Ledger.
He was.
Oh, yep.
She was supposed to, but she had to drop out.
So randomly, I know this is completely random. I know her sister because her sister went to high school with me.
Oh, Michelle that is Williams. Random. They're from Michigan, or is her sister just way younger from
maybe it's a step something? I think it's something like that.
Like
I don't think there's like. I think it's Michelle Williams. It's some famous white person.
Okay, well, to be Reese Witherspoon, who knows? Anyway, she was supposed to be the lead. She had to drop out. They got Jessica Chastain. Her and the leading man were classmates, so they had a lot of chemistry and like.
Yeah. So I didn't realize, if you remember, it's probably for people. I also realized people who are actively on Twitter all the time live in a completely different world than people who aren't. But do you remember that clip of? It was like them on the red carpet in slow motion, and he was like very sensual.
Yes, it was very. People were like, he's married,
and they're both married.
Yeah,
and they're just like, oh, this is just whatever. But through that, I think what makes Scenes from a Marriage work is their chemistry is like very in tune. So you're watching these people who should not be together, who at moments hate each other, but still love each other, and it's still like that loving and caring type of like. I don't know. It just goes back and forth, back and forth. I recommend watching it.
I might give it a spin.
I hate the wife. She's just a horrible person.
Oh, really?
But yes, but it's nice to like. It's nice that it's not always the man who's like you did her wrong, whatever. It's like I'm rooting for him to have a better life.
Well,
but I also kind of feel for her too. But watch it. It's good. And it's not all those episodes or a limited series, but HBO be coming with the heat. And what else? Speaking of HBO, Insecure.
When I saw the trailer, I really got sad. Like I knew I know it's been coming clearly for a while, but when that trailer came,
it's like this the last shit.
Yeah, when this trailer came out, I was just like, "Wow, I'm really emotional." And then I texted my partner.
We've grown with her,
and I was like, I texted him the thing, and he was like, "Oh, you sad, huh?" I was like, "Yeah, I grew up on these characters." Yeah. Like I literally said, he was like, "Bitch, you're 31. Like, where did you grow up?"
So are they.
And I was like, "You don't understand."
We came into adulthood with them.
Exactly. And being being a young black girl in LA at the time
that probably hit different.
And not even just Insecure, but remember, these are extensions of themes from Awkward Black Girl, which go back even further. So I was
him, and I was definitely an awkward black girl, like watching on YouTube type of thing. Like, so it's definitely.
I saw myself, and I was like, that shit's funny because I get that awkward shit. I get that, you rolling up and you like, please don't look at me. Please don't look at me. And then you smiling, you like move up a little bit, or in the hallway, you like, don't talk to me.
Hey, them mirror raps. I wouldn't necessarily say they raps, but I definitely be having some motivational quotes with a little beat over a little 808 that I done made. But yeah, I'm really sad that it's over, because I feel like this was it was written. I mean, I know it's not written directly for me, but I feel like it was written for me.
It was. No, I mean, because Issa is an extension of us. I mean, when you talk about black millennials, I don't think it gets any more black and or millennial than Insecure.
Than her, yeah.
Like definitely. I don't see how. I'm hard pressed to think of another show that represents where so many of us were like, oh my God, that's me.
And it's like down even just the right. I think it's the first season, episode 2, where Issa and Molly are like in the car, and Issa's, I don't know, giving some lie or whatever, and Molly is like, bitch, stop it. Like, and the way that is written and said is like, oh my God, that is how I talk to my friends. Like, yes, it's very much so. Like, are they listening in on our conversation?
No, they're just us. They're just talking how they talk, which is an extension of how we talk. So yeah, Issa really, woo! Did you see this? I think we talked about this. The Sweet Life, her reality TV show. Yes. Now I will say that's a little bit younger than us. On some of that shit, I was like, y'all are being real dumb, real extra. But I was still enthralled, and I watched it every day.
Yes. I binged it when our Neos were here for Labor Day weekend. Mm-hmm. And I feel like I must have said 20 times, like, oh my God, they're so young. But it's also like I feel like to the point of us saying we grew up with Insecure because they're our age. So they're going through the same shit we're going through. Mm-hmm. Watching Sweet Life is just like, oh my God, that was me 4 years ago. Or that was me at 5 years ago. They're what, 24? Okay,
they're
maybe
like
a little bit more.
They're like 25. I think the oldest one is like 27.
Yeah. So it's like, oh my God, that's dumb, but I understand why you think like that because at that age.
Let's be real, Dana. Nobody on that cast had characters. It was more so, oh yeah, you doing dumb shit like insert friend's name did.
Yeah. Oh yeah. I understand. That's what I mean.
I did not see us on that cast.
Not Dana and Nina, but friends of Dana and Nina.
I was like, I would never I would never be pressed over a nigga that doesn't have a real car. I would not be pressed over a nigga in a rental. I would not be pressed, like, I would not be saying, if I didn't have a car or money or a career, I would not be saying that I need a nigga to pay my rent. Like, these are things that you could do.
And you could tell too, for some of those things, it's like, y'all be reading Twitter and believing them dumbass conversations that be, or debates that be on Twitter about who pays the rent, who does whatever. Like,
Brianna, you don't have a car. You're in everybody else's car.
Yes. And they also seriously play telephone. Like, besides saying, oh my God, they're young, I was talking to the TV like, that's not what he said. Right. That's not what she said. That's not what he said. Messy. That is not what they said. Well, I just feel like you said, yeah, but it's great TV.
That I wasn't shit and I ain't had no life and that I was a bum on the
He just said he wanted somebody who was a little bit more busier. That could have been busier with a podcast, busier with, like, I don't know, watching paint dry.
All right, I'm gonna make body butter. That photo shoot on the motherfucking beach, bitch, do better. Like, I know you're upset because they said you wasn't doing shit, but you also can't just do shit to do shit. You actually have to do it right.
Yes.
And I was so disappointed. I'm just so glad that the two Kalamazoo, where they say they was from, Kalamazoo?
Yes, they did not say Detroit. They said
Kalamazoo,
God,
Michigan. I really, because I was like, thank God they did not lump them in with Detroit because there was literally nothing about them characteristics of anybody I know from Detroit. No. So I was glad they made that motherfucking distinction. Speaking of Detroit, have you been watching BMF?
I haven't watched the second episode. I watched
terrible acting. Terrible acting.
Yeah.
Terrible storyline. I don't care if Cash Doll is in it. Have you heard her baby? Terrible acting. Like, titties were nice though. In the sex scene. It took me a minute to realize it was her.
I didn't realize it was her. Yeah. I knew going into the show that she was in it, but in that scene, I didn't realize that was Cash Doll.
And I was like, oh shit, those are Cash Doll's titties.
Yeah. Right. Those are Cash titties. Got you.
Everything else about that show is pretty bad. Like, pretty bad.
I think too, it doesn't help that I watched that show. What show? Which I think, was it a Power show? I keep watching shows that are too similar to each other because BMF came on.
The entire 50 Cent universe.
Yeah, the universe. Yeah. So it's like they're just so.
There's Power. There's Power.
Kane. Oh, the Kanan book. So I actually like Kanan's show. I do. I love Rock. So I think watching that and then immediately watching BMF is like,
it was like, what are you and the fact that it's supposed to be representing Detroit, I'm like, first of all, are y'all even filming in Detroit for real? I don't know. It just doesn't.
They filming in Southwest Detroit. A few clips.
They picked the worst actors to represent these people, including
Big Meech's son is playing him.
Son is playing his dad, and he's bad. Like, bad. And my partner always says, like, Mary J. Blige on the spinoff is really bad, like the acting's bad, and Lala's acting is also not great, but he takes the cake in the 50 Cent universe of, like, bad acting.
I feel like Mary J. Blige's acting is bad, but it's like I could see it fits for her character. Like, her character not that it works, but it's like,
I don't know.
You think it's worse than Lala?
I don't know. You know what?
I feel like Lala has her script written on her hand.
Who's worse? Lala is probably worse. Lala's probably worse.
And I also feel like Lala plays the same character in every single show that she's in.
Oh yeah, every fucking thing.
And it's like the same.
Isn't she in BMF too? I feel like I saw her ass in BMF.
It's the same character. All the characters' names are Keisha. You can't tell me different. Every single one is Keisha. She got one son with an ex-drug dealer or whatever. That's just, we need a Keisha. Call Lala. Is Alani available?
There's a phone in Lala's house, kind of like how Batman or Superman.
Right. It's just a red phone. Pick up.
We need you. All right.
We got a Keisha.
Got you.
What decade?
70s, 80s, 90s.
Let's go. Keisha all the way.
Lord. But yeah, BMF, I'm sorry. No. And another show that also is very Tyler Perry. I mean, 50 Cent has
the Lee Daniels show. With the bougie black people.
Yes.
I was about to say a fucking League of Our Own.
Our kind of people.
Our people.
I'm sorry.
People.
Let's wrap it. We don't even remember episodes. I gave the second episode another try. I was like, I don't need Lala to embarrass herself anymore. I don't need the show no more.
Lala gonna come in episode 3. Don't it come on tonight? Oh, I think it came. It's on right now. This is Tuesday when we're recording. So the thing is about that show is one of my guilty pleasures. I think, do me and you share? I know for sure it's me and Celeste share this, of horrible black movies that be on Netflix or be on different things.
Celeste for sure.
This definitely falls into that category a little bit, and it's also Lee Daniels, so it's gonna be.
I mean, you kind of know what you're getting when you get a Lee Daniels show. They just happen to have made it work with, what was the other show? Empire. That's Lee Daniels, right?
Yeah.
It
was Star, but I never watched Star.
2 seasons of Empire that just kept you intrigued.
Empire was good the first 2 seasons, and then after that, it was a shit show. This show, Yaya, is it DaCosta? She's gorgeous. The hair is great in the show. Yes, the was Baby Boy, the beautiful teeth.
The guy she dating.
Yes. What is his name?
Yeah,
Chocolate.
Chocolate fine ass. That's all we need to know.
What is his right? Lance his Gross. Face is like Lance Gross. Yes. That's Lance Gross. Yes, that's it. Yep, that's it. He's in there. It has the right people for the right roles. I feel like Papa Pope is just Papa Pope.
Yes.
I forgot his real name. He did
a monologue the first episode.
And I'm like, is this Scandal?
I was like, if
is this Olivia?
He literally was doing a monologue because he's the CEO of this company and saying how hard he's
and do you think that I am your father?
Right. I'm like, I was waiting for him. What did I teach you?
Right.
We have to work twice as hard to get half as far. I was just waiting for Kerry Washington to walk through the scene with a lip quiver because, again, same character. Honestly, I love seeing black. You know what? We don't need to cancel. Let me not say cancel it because there's terrible.
No, I want to see. I want to see.
No, I was really like, no, they need to hang this up. Like, this is not.
It is not as bad as a Black Lady sketch show.
Yeah, y'all know how I feel
Deep
about
Negro sigh.
Y'all know how I feel about a Black Lady sketch show.
That was the hardest 21 minutes for me to get through.
Robin Thede, I love you, but that show, I'm sorry. I support though. The thing is, I still watch it, so I guess I'll still watch. When it come on Hulu, I'll let it play. These are people, but it is not good. And also, I keep seeing another.
Did you read the book?
Huh?
Did you read the book?
No.
So it's based off of a controversial book that came out in the 90s or something like that.
The book was better.
About like Jack and Jill, Greek society, like high society, whatever.
I feel like this show
because also
the right.
Why would all those people live on that island? That's a summer in Boston is not actually as. It's a lot of things. Why is she going back? I feel like too much was revealed too soon.
That she's she's the
daughter, and now they're sisters.
That's the first episode without even knowing anything. I'm like, oh, somehow she's his daughter. Like, we're gonna find that out.
Yeah,
but
I'm surprised they there's not like. I feel like because it came out now, they removed the colorism aspect of it, because you would think that with a show like this, it would be like, oh, it's the lighter skinned family who's like the high society who made it, who did whatever. So I appreciate that it's not like just that. Morris Chestnut is in it too. Yeah. So if anything, you could just watch it on mute. Yeah, the husband.
I don't know.
I knew the daughter was gonna be gay.
Yeah, right.
It's like
me. I don't know. It's the writing is like the premise. The premise is interesting, right? So that's why I was like, you know, I'm gonna give this show a chance. And then when you get to it and the writing doesn't lead up to the premise. Now, what I will say is that there's two shows I want to talk about. The other bad show that I'm sure is that I'm just have no faith in, but I keep seeing commercials for is Nasty Girl. What is it?
Queens.
Queen. I'm sorry. Every portal looks terrible. But they are spending money to make us watch this show. Yeah. And I'm
gonna watch it.
It will be good. I'm gonna watch it. But I'm probably gonna hate watch it because I'm not convinced that this show will be good. I hope that I'm wrong.
So I feel like Brandy is going to be Chardonnay from the game, like the character that she had on the game.
And you know, she was on Star too.
Yeah. I never watched Star. I know a lot of people guest starred,
but I'm sure she's gonna be the same shit. She was she was a main cast member of Star for the.
Was she?
Season 3 and 2 and 3. I think it had 3 seasons.
Also, why is Twitter the young people just realizing that Brandy and Ray J are siblings? That was a topic on Twitter, and I logged off my phone.
Ain't you Brandy's brother? Like, don't niggas listen to nothing? They don't Google nothing, listen to nothing. Like, it's
with all this internet. Like, I feel that's like us being little and not realizing that Michael Jackson and Janet Jackson were siblings. Like, I just feel like some shit you just
know.
You know, because
who's raising y'all? Who's raising? You know, who's raising Generation Z? Is it Generation X?
Gen X. Yeah, because our parents are baby boomers.
So
I think it's Gen X.
You think Gen X would come on now?
Who do I know that's Gen X? I feel like people. It was some. Do you follow Naima, music journalist? She's been in the game for like. Did you know she did the marketing for 4? I didn't realize that.
Oh,
Beyonce.
No, I didn't know that.
Yeah. Yeah. We are completely just hopping from whatever, but I'm okay with it.
This is the episode. If y'all turn it off.
This is Dana and Nina having a phone conversation, and y'all just listening in. We on 3-way, and y'all just on mute.
Tweet us and tell us what you think of the topics.
Right. She was basically like breaking it down why. It was more so focused on music, but music is such an integral part of our culture. But saying like, why is it that kids don't know things? And it's like, well, is everybody still in the house with like their granny? Or a lot of the stuff that we had growing up was physical things. So, I'm going to listen to these physical CDs that are in my, like my music taste is my parents' taste. But if you're not doing that, especially now, everything is like digital. So I listen to only what I listen to, and it's on my phone. So even if I'm around someone, I wouldn't necessarily be able to pass shit down.
I forget where I was. I was like out with, we have this Black Girl Magic Planners group in Chicago, and we went out to happy hour on Friday, and a song came on. It was like, I forget what the song was. And then, one of my mentors was like, how you know this song? I was like, I grew up in Detroit, and my maternal side is from Mississippi. Like, of course I know these old school Motown ass songs. Like,
I couldn't change the radio station in the car, exactly. So I listened to
every Saturday. We got up and listened to Baduizm.
Yeah,
I know these albums extensively because I had no choice but to listen to it. You're right. That is such a good point. I didn't have your phone or iPad or
I could put my headphones on and just not listen. That wasn't the
thing. I think I got my first Walkman like CD player when I was like in high school or middle school, maybe late middle school.
Yeah. 7th, 8th, my own music. I mean, like my own like what I would go out and find different music. I remember in high school I was definitely more into like more emo, like white music for lack of a better term, because of the high school I went to, I was watching One Tree Hill, whatever. But outside of that, what my parents listened to constantly in the house was on repeat. I was hanging out with my cousin she's 20 years older than me. So like all the 90s music, she was in her 20s enjoying it. So when I was with her, I was listening to all the 90s music that I still listen to now. And that influence. So it's like, what do you mean? What do I know about, I don't know, like Tony Braxton, Whitney Houston? Like my parents were listening to that.
Yeah. I love all that shit. And soundtracks were big. So like when you think about like Waiting to Exhale coming out, I forget how old we were, but like the soundtrack
1996.
You couldn't go anywhere when that soundtrack, Boomerang soundtrack,
and music videos that also had songs tied to the sound. Like it was a completely different. Naima was tweeting about that too. Like even the rollout for soundtracks and music and we also sat and watched the same 10 music videos over and over again. You know, like 106 & Park, TRL, The Box, like all of those.
The Box. Oh, The Box.
Rap City.
The Box.
Yeah, The Box. That was like early 90s. I was like
exposed us to a lot. And then Detroit had their own version of Soul Train for a while. I don't remember the name of it. But
and it's also just being in Detroit. I feel like my aunts and uncles have stories of hanging out with Aretha in a old little like club, and it's very much so a music city. So we gonna listen to these songs, and the elders gonna play their music. We ain't playing that whatever we want. So
that's crazy. And there was before we hop to music, there is one show I would like to shout out. There's a show called Ordinary Joe. Now, I stumbled upon this show and I was like, what is this show? Like, what's going on here?
What station?
The premise is, I don't know, I watch everything on Hulu. I think it's an NBC show, but it's on Hulu. The premise, I know, Ordinary Joe, white cast, I'm like, But the premise is basically, it opens with this guy who's at his college graduation. And you see him like interact with different people, and he ends up having to make a decision. Like either he goes with his family for a dinner, he goes with his current girlfriend to this beach party, or he meets this new girl that he kind of has a crush on, but never really talked to in college, and he hangs out with her. And so you follow what happens in each of these decisions, and it cuts through and like how these people like 10 years later, so it flashes forward. So like if he goes with his family, he ends up being a police officer like his dad was and like his uncle was. If he goes with his ex-girlfriend or with his current girlfriend, she ends up being pregnant. I mean, all three of these scenarios, she's pregnant, but what happens to the baby ends up happening in different ways. And then if he goes with the girl that he has a crush on, he ends up being like this music superstar. And like, and so it's really interesting. And I was like, you know what? This is something I have not seen on TV before.
Wow. That sounds like those books, like the Choose Your Own Adventure type books where you could read, like jump to this page if you do like, this, jump to this page.
Yeah. And I think it's interesting because like I said, either way he has a son, but in one scenario, he doesn't know the son exists. The girl, because he didn't go with the girlfriend gave him up for adoption. So he doesn't know that he has a son.
That's interesting.
And in another scenario, where he goes with the girlfriend, him and the girlfriend end up getting married, but she doesn't end up going to law school because they end up getting married, and you know he becomes a doctor.
Yeah.
And then in the other scenario, he ends up. In another scenario, he doesn't. When he becomes a police officer, he still doesn't know that the girl had the baby, but the girl kept the baby and married somebody else who is like, I'm his father no matter what. Like. Yeah. And so, like, there's all these different scenarios.
That's interesting.
So interesting to see how, like, one decision could change your life
and change everything. Yeah, I always think about. My mom always will ask. Like, there was a point when we almost moved to Farmington Hills. Farmington Hills is a suburb of Detroit. When I was in 8th grade, so like. Oh, if we would have moved, like you would have went to public school, or you wouldn't have went to private school because we would have been, moving by a new house, whatever. And so like, how would your life be different? All these people that you wouldn't have known. Would you have still gone to, like, so almost these different decisions or these, even, I mean, that wasn't my decision, but like these things would have happened. Like
could have affected your life and you
yeah.
For the worst.
yeah, how different would your life be, or like what type of path would you have taken? So that's interesting. The last show that I have, and this is very, I would say, niche into like one of my favorite games and shows that I always watch. I may have said this. It was like Clue, or like a Who Done It. Mm-hmm. So there's a show, I don't know what channel because I watch it on Hulu. Only Murders in a Building. With Steve Martin.
It was good. And I was like, I'm not paying enough attention to this.
And Selena Gomez. You got to pay attention. But it's like so I feel like there's a lot of remakes and like the same shows keep coming up. This one is at least very kind of how you were saying Ordinary Joe is, but this one's very unique in there's a guy gets murdered in this apartment building in Manhattan. And then these three very random and no other circumstance, I feel like, will these three people interact, but they all love like true crime podcasts.
Yeah.
And so they all were like, hey, let's start a podcast and solve the mystery of this guy that was murdered in our building. So it's these three very different people who become very awkward friends. It's like one 23-year-old girl and like two like 70-year-old white men or something like that.
One's very eccentric, one's very like traditional.
Yeah, one's like completely the opposite of like
Steve Martin.
Yep.
And I forget. But yeah,
it's not Dana Carvey, but I can't think of his name.
Of that era, it's like
he's very.
You'll recognize him as soon as you turn on the TV.
Martin, it's not Martin Short, but I just like the plot. It's the who done it. They're like making this podcast and everybody's like, why are you paying attention? It's a shut case. We know this man, how this man was murdered, but their podcast, they're actually like solving the case in it. Mm-hmm. So it's these three people who are not detectives at all, who are piecing together and who are just like spending their days solving this mystery, but then also recording the podcast. And then people are listening to the podcast and like in on it. And then they become like fans of the podcast. It's just a fresh kind of whodunit take. And at this point, I'm just glad when shows are original and not the same thing. Like, hey, let's remake the show that came out like 10 years ago. It's like, no, it's not. Right, it hasn't been long enough.
Ideas, people. Look.
It's like sampling songs that came out 5 years ago. Like, why are you doing this?
We've heard this. We've seen this. Yeah, I like the new, fresh ideas. Like, even if they're terrible, like Queens or people, let's give shit a new spin. Like, apparently they're making a fucking, have you ever seen The League of Our Own?
With the tennis?
No, not
with tennis. The women?
Baseball.
Golf? It's a sport.
Anyway,
with Gina Davis.
Yes, it's one of my childhood favorite movies. Like, whenever it comes on, I watch it. It has Madonna in it.
Okay.
And Roseanne.
Oh, Madonna's in it? Rosie O'Donnell.
Rosie O'Donnell. Mm-hmm. What I learned is that there actually was a short-lived series after the movie premiered and did successful, but it only lasted like 5 or 6 episodes. But Amazon is bringing a series back of a League of Their. I don't need it. Sorry, Kendall. My one of my really good friends works at Amazon. Don't need it, Kendall.
Oh, this is y'all were tweeting about it. Yeah.
Publicize this. We don't need. I mean, maybe it'll be good. And then they're also making what did I like? They're making something into a series. I was like, do we really need this? There's so many. I mean, there's every day. There's
so many things. No, I just lost my train of thought. But yeah, we don't need the remakes. I was reading an article about talking about Squid Games because it's a South Korean show. Uh-huh. And they're like, please, we do not need an American version of it. Like, we do not need an American version of it. We can actually just watch
this.
Yes. Like,
just watch it.
And even if you don't like subtitles, you can watch the horrible dubbing of.
No, but this is what they are doing to Parasite. They're making an American version of it.
Why?
It already won an Oscar.
It was good enough with reading subtitles.
With the subtitles. We don't need an Americanized version of this. Yeah, that's frustrating. But
it's the same. Yeah.
On American.
What else? Do you watch Succession on HBO?
I started season 1. I think I might have finished season 1, but not season 2. I should probably get back into it, but that's a long shot.
Sanaa Lathan is coming in on season 3, so that's why I'm like still keeping up with it. It's very well written.
You gotta pay attention.
But it's also, yeah, you do have to pay attention to it. And it's I want to say it's a slow burn because it's the small things that like add up to, I feel like it's kind of how like what made it difficult for me to get into Game of Thrones, because you know how some shows it's like, oh, these big things happening, like, oh, let me pay attention.
Yeah,
but in this show, it's like it's the small, subtle things that add up over time and like over the overall story arc, and you kind of understand the nuance of like the characters in the show. But I like it. It's a bunch of ridiculously filthy, grimy white people in that family, dysfunctional family.
Show, and at some point I'll revisit it. I did finish in treatment with this last season, and that was
with Uzo.
Yeah, with Uzo. It was actually
I didn't finish that.
You should. I think you should. But yeah, it was good. What music do we want to talk about? We should probably transition from TV to music.
To music. Aaliyah is officially on streaming. So honestly, I've been listening to shit that I would just play in my head, in my mind for all these years. If y'all don't know, I am a diehard Aaliyah fan. Since like, I cried like I knew her. Anyway, we don't have to get into that, but very much so a huge fan. Very happy that it's on streaming because my younger cousin Aaliyah, who I named after the singer, and who was supposed to be born, her original due date was on the date that the singer passed away. But she ended up being born a little bit earlier than that. She can actually listen to her music now because I gave her CDs, but like, who listens to CDs? And she's like, yeah, you named me after this woman, but I can't even listen to her, like readily available, listen to her music. So I'm really happy about that. What else am I listening to? I'm going to start doing my weekly earworms. I used to do it where I would just make playlists of like the 8 songs that I'm listening to every single week. Mm-hmm. JoJo just dropped a new album.
She dropped the whole project. I saw some visuals from her because I recently started following her on Instagram. I have not gotten into her new music.
Yeah.
And by new music, I mean anything past like her first second album. I don't think I've gotten it.
Oh wow, no, she's
only singles here and there. I know she can sing, and she won a Grammy for that song that I actually do like. But
no, this one,
she has a song with Tank, and she won a Grammy for a song. Those are 2 songs that I do like, but I just haven't gotten into anything else.
This one, what's it called? Trying Not to Think About It or something. This just came out last Friday, but she also dropped this is an actual album. I think she dropped an EP in the height of lockdown. I forgot what it's called. That's the song where she took Tory Lanez off of it.
Oh, okay.
And what else? We wasn't on here when Drake released Certified Lover Boy. I was disappointed. I feel like Drake consistently gave Drake. Like, there are hella captions that you could put on your Instagram post. It's still shit that if we were at a pregame or at a club, like, it would go up. But I feel like before Drake would move the culture, and not move the culture, move like the sound that we're listening to, you know, like he started bringing in with when he had like not introducing, but to a larger audience, New Orleans bounce music, or when he started introducing like, oh, we're going to do like more Caribbean, Afro beats. Yeah. To the larger audience.
Grime. All this shit sounds the same. I mean, clearly
I was waiting on him to to drop something else in, but now it's just like, it's almost like let me do the shit that I know that's going to work and I know that's going to hit. And
it worked. I mean, he had
I'm gonna just do that.
8 of the 10 songs in the top 10.
Yeah.
The week after his album dropped, I listened to the album, and when I say listen to the album, I skipped through songs one time. I was like, I'm not ever coming back to this, and I haven't. I've listened to Montero consistently every day, and that's where I am right now between Montero. And I mean, I guess that's the album I'm really bumping right now, though. Yeah, and then I go back to like my Tinashe playlist.
Oh yeah, I'm very much into Tim's. Spotify has a good Tim's playlist. Yeah,
big push for her. I haven't gotten into her yet though.
I like she has a song with Brent Faiyaz, this singing version of Future. Trying to think what else. I'm definitely into some more Afro beats these days. I got body. What else? I feel like I also staple listen to 90s music like 70% of the time, the same shit I've been listening to.
I play I play Have Mercy about 60 times.
Yeah.
I play
Chloe.
I listen to all female rap, then I go to Montero.
Yeah.
And I just do it.
I like my bad. I like a lot of UK R&B alternative. Adele just tweeted she dropping some shit October 15th. She said Yeba, the other white girl, like soulful singer. Somebody was like, Adele coming to reclaim her spot. Like, hey.
You know, people are into it, but I tried listening to her stuff because I really like the song she has with Lucky Day, but I didn't find other stuff in her catalog. But this is pre her putting out her current project, and I have not listened to it. I actually didn't find it to be as R&B as I thought it was going to be. So I was like, oh, this isn't for me.
It's like folk and B, like a little bit of folk.
Maybe
like a hint of folk music.
I was like, oh, I thought I was gonna get the same runs and vocals as the Lucky Day song that I can't remember the name of, but I love.
Yeah. The Love It, How to Break a Heart, not
Break a Heart, or How Much Can a Heart Take?
Yeah. I love that song. Yeah. You did the better than me.
And blame it on the moon. Yeah, like that's the Blue Eyed Soul I buy. And I just felt like her catalog wasn't that.
I like her singing on Instagram more than her project. Okay. Like I would, I don't follow her, but she comes up often.
The new project.
Yeah, even the new, like I listened to the new project. I was like, oh, she can sing. This is good. But like I haven't revisited it again.
Okay.
Also, my standard for Blue Eyed Soul, like you need to impress the fuck out of me for me to consistently listen to you, because I always feel like part of the gimmick is like, oh, you're white and you sound like this, as opposed to which is also like when I think about Jazmine Sullivan versus Adele, it's like why it's
I don't even put them in the same category. I mean, I like Adele, but I don't. I mean, 25 was it for me, or was it 21 or 25?
All of them, 19, 21, and 25. She did.
Oh,
all her albums just her age.
I liked 21 more than I liked 25.
Oh yeah.
I feel like 21 was the sweet spot for me, where I'm like, okay, this is a good album, and then 25 came. I was like, okay, it's cool. And then I don't know. I'm assuming she's 31, 32. I'm assuming she's gonna keep consistent with the numbers.
She got divorced though, so maybe this is gonna be like if you like a heartbreak.
Boyfriend now.
Yeah.
So you know what? She been getting that
a heartbreak. Yeah.
What's that other?
I compare.
Dating some other black man too.
I don't compare Jazmine Sullivan to Adele, but when I say like, oh, Adele can sing, and I'm like, Jazmine Sullivan is 20 times more talented than her. Why is she not as big as Adele? Because Adele has the Blue Eyed Soul like gimmick aspect of it. That's why I say them together
to a bigger audience because she's white.
Yes, because the number one thing I probably watched on YouTube, I've definitely gotten back into watching YouTube like in videos thanks to you. After that day I was over your house, now I just watch music videos on YouTube. I have watched Jazmine Sullivan's Tiny Desk solid 1,000 times since we've been in quarantine. Like, oh, I know the timestamps and everything. And her and Ari Lennox BET performance for On It.
I like Ari Lennox's song.
Yeah. She has a lot of good production on that song. I'm excited for her next project. See, every time I just talk about this, I'm just so fucking sad about Lights On and R&B only. Like, these were me and my friend are
Chicago. Let me see.
Moping. They postponed all of their shows into New Year's Eve. So that's the thing. It's not canceled. It was supposed to be, let's say, October 1st, and now it's New Year's Eve. I don't want to spend New Year's Eve in New York at R&B only because I'm gonna be in Detroit.
Hold on a second.
Bitch, don't go to the show that I can't go
to. Yeah, I have to make a stop here.
Yeah, so that's music. What else?
Buying tickets. Sorry, okay. All right. I don't know. Anyway.
Nina. No, because I forgot to tell you something.
What?
Duh. I was just looking at my notes from the fake things we were going to talk about.
Oh, yeah. Uh-huh.
I am. So I periodically would get on dating apps when I would live in different cities.
Uh-huh.
And I just had to delete the dating apps because
a
man. I was being. I'm also very irritable because I'm not drinking, not smoking. So I'm like weaning myself off of that. So I'm just irritable all around. But the first question a man asked me was, "What do you bring to the table?"
I'm sorry. Excuse me? That was the first question?
Oh, he said, "Hey." Sorry. He said, "Hey, what do you bring to the table?" And I said, "Nothing. I'm trash and I unmatched." And I took that off.
Wow. I love that response. Nothing. I'm trash.
Like, why are
the nerve?
So my ongoing rant is, why are these Twitter conversations translated into kind of what is Brianna on Sweet? Was that the girl who asked about the rent thing? It's like these stupid topics that people debate on Twitter that anybody who's actually in a healthy relationship or actually like the people that they're dating don't even actually talk about or consider. And it's the combination of that. It's the combination of the Kevin Samuels, the alpha males, the red pill, blue pill communities, all these little things of like basically incels on the internet, and dumb motherfuckers on Twitter having these conversations have spilled over into real life.
What the fuck?
What do I like?
What do I bring to the table? I mean, like, damn, hello, hi, how are you?
What's your it's like, damn, I used to complain about I'm tired of asking, like, being asked what's my favorite color. But shit, that's better. That's better than
what do you bring to the fucking table? I exist.
Nothing. I'm trash.
I exist. That's it. Niggas are lazy.
And horrible.
Niggas are lazy.
Have no guidance.
Niggas are mad that the patriarchy is slowly being torn down, even though it's not, clearly it's not eradicated. But they're starting to be held accountable for their shitty behavior. And now they're like,
because I don't need you. This? Yeah, because I don't need you.
How can I flip this to being about what you bring to the table? I'm not going to just provide, love and care and security. For what? Niggas are trash.
And the thing is, and I say this very humbly, you worried about gold diggers and you ain't got no gold. Like, you're worried about, I don't want to be, bitches be always after me for whatever. And it's like, okay.
Kevin, you're balding.
Okay.
You're stuck in middle management at the call center. Nobody's digging for anything from you.
No, no. Yeah, we actually we're going to have a episode on like dating apps, prior to when you were single and together with your partner. We can kind of rehash that, the do's, the don'ts, the highs, the lows.
Yeah, luckily I haven't had to be in those trenches in about
the frustrations.
I haven't in like 7 years. I haven't actually had to use a dating app in a long time.
So it's the I would say it's
been a long time.
Yeah,
I actually had to date or like be out in the market dating. Wow.
Yeah, you're welcome. When we write the story,
I was delivered. Yeah, we don't need like to have some guests that day because I feel like I'm out of touch. I don't get it. I'm very shocked they got a man at home. Every time my friends start complaining about dating, I'm like, I'm so sorry that you went through that. My man is not trash.
I'm so sorry that happened to you. That is 100% Shantae's got a man. So I will say it's not 50-50. For the trash experiences, there's also very nice experiences. I am a Capricorn, so I'm also a very picky person, and I realize that about myself. I am not for everyone, and everyone is not for me in all aspects of life. I also don't like people the majority of the time, so I'm aware of that. But there's good and there's bad. It's just the bad just be bad. Like, it's like I be wanting to become a mentor, like King,
right? Check.
Don't you about
King,
right? King. Or like, why do men feel like they complain about gold diggers, but then they lead with how much money they have or how much, like,
they're upset that
the logic is not
like, they literally set up this system. They literally set up this system of women are supposed to be attractive. You all are supposed to provide.
Yes.
So there are women who buy into that because they choose to, and they absolutely can, because feminism says you get to choose, right?
Yeah.
So they see these women, on Instagram or, wherever, because they're probably not in their day-to-day lives.
Right.
Beautiful hair, nails, lashes.
That's another thing. They have access to see these type of women too.
But they're not attainable. I mean, they're not for you. So you keep being upset that these women who want money in exchange for their beauty, because that's the system that you have created for them. You get upset when they reject you because you don't have the money and status that they require.
Yeah.
And then you become disgruntled with the women that are in your league, and decide to want to reject them or make fun of them or not make room for them. And again, you become some type of incel, woman-hating motherfucker.
Kevin Samuels. Kevin Samuels.
Exactly.
Yes. There was Aisha K. Faines, rest in peace. She was a very good, like, she was our age, but I don't even know what to call her. She was on The Grapevine, which a show on YouTube, which I love, that kind of have host panels and talk about kind of the prevalent topics of today for millennial Black people. But she was talking about like how when men hear polygamy, it's like, oh, I can have multiple wives, multiple girlfriends. Like, I could do that. I would love to do that. But when she breaks it down and she actually gives like historical context and the actual meaning behind polygamy, if polygamy was more, and I don't know if I'm saying the right one, when a man is married and has multiple wives and takes care of them.
Yeah.
I don't know if it's the difference between polyamory. If maybe I'm just pronouncing it wrong. I don't know. But
polyamory is more so all of the partners have access to other people.
Okay.
Where I think polygamy, and we could probably Google this because whatever.
Yeah. But whichever is the one where it's one husband and multiple wives.
Yeah.
She was saying if that happened, there would be all of the poor men would be without spouses.
Right.
So monogamy is the only reason that
I remember seeing that
poor men have a chance of actually having a partner, because the large part of
the reason that P. Diddy can go from Lori Harvey to Carisha to now Bow Wow and Future's baby mama is because he has money.
He has money.
When Nick Cannon can have 8 children, 6 of which were born in the last 12 months because he has money.
Yeah.
Y'all don't have Nick Cannon and or P. Diddy money. Therefore, you cannot have P. Diddy or Nick Cannon expectations.
Even the conversations around like Dr. Dre's divorce, or when like men and stuff get divorced and it's like, oh, what the alimony payments or the child support payment. It's like, oh, these women are gold diggers. They dragging whatever. It's like, first of all, let's scale these numbers back to your paycheck. Right. And what that would actually translate to. Because yes, $500,000 a month sounds a lot, but when you're a billionaire.
What did I call him? What character?
King.
Nobody's deducting, like, your deduction's $37.45. Let's be real. Like, I'm not even joking.
But it's the aspect of oh, I have $5 in my pocket and these bitches want this $5 in my pocket. And in reality, it's like, no, you need to, like, you only got $5 in your pocket. Like, these women that you're going after are not thinking about you. You're just,
especially now. I mean, when your grandma and I saw this on Twitter, I forget who said this. I'll have to go back. But like, you're forced to actually be a decent person because your grandpappy and your grandma, she was relying on your grandpa solely for income. She could not leave if she was being abused, if this or that or the other.
Wasn't it the late 70s where women could have a bank account on their own without a husband, or is the 80s? It's something.
I mean,
very recent.
Suffrage was in the 1920s and 30s. Like, like this was not long ago where women just had the right to vote or own property. And there are still some very wacky laws on a lot of state legislators about women owning property. Do people pay attention to it as much? Probably not. But like they're
still in place.
Laws in place. So anyway, now we've gotten to a point, especially, what is it called? Second wave feminism in the 1970s. I'm really reaching in my bag at my women's whatever. Where
that sounds right.
You got Gloria Steinem. You got this kind of like movement of like, we're gonna work, we're gonna do our own thing. And we're not going to rely on men. So now you have women, whether they have quote unquote skills or not, you have people on Instagram making their own money, right? Just taking pretty pictures. So they no longer are going to.
And men hate that
because of money or housing or access to a better life. So now you actually have to be a decent person in order to.
You have to have a personality, King.
You have to have a personality. You gotta talk about
and niggas.
To the table, nigga, what do you bring to the table?
Niggas are scrambling. There was it was actually, I don't know who it was, but it was a black guy on Twitter saying like, the thing is, niggas have to have personalities now, and it's eating them up. Like, you actually have to be more than just
conversation I was thinking of.
Yeah, you have to be more than just your paycheck or more than just what you have access to. And it's really sad when you think about it, of like, not, clearly not all men, but you only think your worth is your dick and your wallet. And so it's like, oh no, I'm gonna make you feel like shit. I'm gonna say, oh, you're gonna die alone. Like, even if I never get married, I'm still not about to die alone. Like, what? Right. Logically, that doesn't make sense. Like, I have friends.
I don't have
family.
Children. I don't
I don't have to do all of this. And I say all of this after I literally just got off the phone with my aunt telling her like, oh, I'm definitely about to be a housewife. Like,
I mean, yes. Oh, I'm 100% vying for that.
Okay. I'm making sandwiches, the crust cut off.
It's not happening. He's like, it's not happening.
1, 2, 3.
Stop trying to make fetch happen. And I'm just really trying to just be like, no, we can make it happen. We get your films, you're already doing great. We can do a few more.
I'm supportive. Yes, I proved to myself.
I'm on Watch City So Real. Also on Stars. Make sure y'all go watch America to Me. Also, this new movie Commuted is gonna come out. Information.
I catch up in my bio.
Because working is ghetto. But at least that's my choice, right?
We have a choice.
Like, I have a choice. I'm completely self-sufficient right now. I don't need Ruben for anything.
I prove that I'm capable of it.
And he is actually my equal. I feel comfortable to be like, actually, you can take this shit. Like, you good.
Yeah. Yeah. But I want more for the kings to actually have personalities.
And it's not to say women are perfect or that we approach dating, with healthy, but like, this whole patriarchy shit that y'all keep playing back and forth and trying to have your cake and eat it too, it's just not gonna happen. Like, y'all just have to step up to the plate.
Definitely. Equally. Everyone needs to be, I feel like people miss the mark of who they should actually be going after or interested in.
Yeah.
Like, you have a lead. Yeah.
Please play.
You hate gold diggers, but you go after, and I'll just say like the city girl mentality, for lack of a better term. Like, oh, I want a bag. I want this. I want that. But those are the women that you go after, but you say you hate gold diggers, but they are outwardly saying, I want this from you. I want that. I want this. if you don't want that, date someone else, and let the women who want that date the men who freely give it to them. And maybe that's what the men hate, that there are men who can actually do that, like the Diddies. I also feel like regular niggas think that they're just one hit record away from being Diddy. So it's like within their reach of his level of money or his access to things. So yeah, well, this is a preview into our deeper dive of our dating episode that we'll have.
This is tip of the iceberg. We'll actually have people on that episode. I might even get a special episode in the next few days, maybe. We'll see.
Oh, I'm looking like, what?
It's kind of like an activity, keep y'all busy while I go take a nap. But also, let's see if we can do it. I guess, we have to talk about it, but we'll see. Anyway, yes, lots of fun things coming your way, hopefully soon.
Yeah. What are you, I guess, looking towards, how the fuck do I want to ask this question? What are you looking forward to in year 2 for the podcast?
Like with all things in my life, consistency, growing our audience. And that's like consistency on my part of like, just trying to get our lives together. I really do enjoy doing the podcast though. And I think it has been a great like outlet, and I know we can make it grow and do really cool things and talk about really important topics. I mean, we've had some really awesome guests, so I'm excited to see like us have more guests about specific topics that we don't necessarily have expertise in, but we just have an amazing network of friends and family that can offer some really cool content. And that's it. Just like continue growing and continue to like make it fun. I think if you're listening to this and you're like, these bitches record when they want to, I mean, we do, because it's not like work for us. Like we have really intense jobs. And this podcast is like a fun outlet for us. Like we like to talk shit, and we often do it without the recorded button being on. And I think we probably have some of the same conversations, or watch some of the same shows, or listen to the same music, or have some of the same opinions, or maybe not. Maybe you're hate listening to this right now. Thank you.
Hey, we do that too.
But creating a platform for people to be like, oh, like I also grew up on Insecure, and like kind of having those moments when you're commuting or in the car, and just like having some, because I look for it. Like I listen to The Read, I listen to, what's that other podcast? I listen to Keep It. Like I listen to these conversational pop culture, topical podcasts, and I enjoy them. So I hope that you enjoy them just as much as I enjoy those. What about you?
I remember when we first started this podcast, and I told my brother, he works within like artist management within music, but he also does a lot with like social media marketing. So he started rambling off like, oh, this is what y'all can do. Like he's like, oh, we can make this, this how you make money, blah, blah, blah. And I'm like, sweetie, I know all of that. Like I work within podcasts. I know this shit. We're actively just doing this for fun. Like we have day jobs. But I do think, and sometimes as I learn from work, like just like the podcast trends of listening, I'm like, oh, maybe, have ideas of what we can do. I haven't talked to you about this, but maybe we can start doing video to add like clips of our conversations for like social media, like 1 minute sound bites to drive traffic. Ditto to what you said about like having more guests, more topics. Because I like when we have like the serious topics, but I also like the episodes like this where it's literally just us talking about whatever is on top of our head. So definitely wanted to expand on that. But I feel like for me, the past year, I would say I am more of a writer than a talker. So even me having this podcast is like for me, it's getting out of my shell of just talking about how I feel and what I think, as opposed to writing it, or being more introspective in it. So I've enjoyed that. and the positive feedback that we've got from our listeners, both those who are close to us and then those who are, I'd be surprised when some people reach out like, hey, I listened to your podcast, or I, did this, and getting like complimented on it and things like that. So that's been good. So yeah, I'm looking forward to, when you said consistency, I'm like, yeah, we got to get on that. But I like that this is not like stressful.
Yeah. I mean, that's like a goal, but also like, let's be real with ourselves.
It's a loose goal. Yeah.
It's a loose goal because I want to be able to bring y'all content on like when you can expect it. Because I know like when the read is a day late, I'd be like, what the fuck are they doing?
Yeah.
But they also do that full time, and we do not.
Yeah.
Do this full time.
Yeah. So that's our goal is to be in it. I also feel like this is, and what I want to do more as I dip my toe a little bit in like the more creative space, I like working with my friends, because I feel like we never actually have to sit and delegate things. It was just, oh, this is what's happening. Like, we never actually said, oh, you're going to do this or, whatever. It's just, yep. It's very
more natural
in sync. Yeah, definitely natural. So yeah, I'm excited for year 2, season. I don't even know what season we're on. Something like that.
I think we have 2 seasons a year. Sounds about right.
Yeah, something like that. We'll
do another season at some point.
Maybe we'll when we're in the same place have like the full show recorded, because that's also a big thing for viewers too now, is people also watch podcasts on YouTube as opposed to just listening.
Yeah.
So we can figure out, a weekend when I'm in Chicago or when you come here.
I mean, bitch, you're gonna be here like 2 weekends in October, so.
I know, that's true. Yeah, that's true. Yeah, so we can figure it out. But more to come. And what else did I write down? Yeah, I also one thing I want to do too is go on someone else's podcast.
Yeah.
So I'm putting that out there for something. It kind of came to me like a week ago. I'm like, hey, I love listening to podcasts. I love doing this podcast. I also like the producing, editing, coming putting it together, getting on the platform. What somebody asked me, how do we come up with the names for the shows?
Mm-hmm.
And I'm surprised no one realizes
there's song titles.
They're 90s song titles.
Yeah, y'all didn't catch on to that. Come on now.
And that's just what we're gonna keep on doing. And it's literally, we record the show. We have the topics pre-planned out. We record the show with the topic. When I'm editing it, I listen to it because that's the only time I actually listen to the podcast, because I don't like listen to my own voice. And then based off of that, I think of, oh, what's a song that either the title matches this or the content of the song matches this? And then that becomes the title of the show. So Nina is surprised. Nina finds out the name of the shows when everybody else.
It happens. I'm like, oh, okay, I see how that fits. Yeah.
That could work. Yeah.
That could work.
So yeah, that's how I name them. That's very on brand for me. And yeah, I'm enjoying it.
We should probably do another live at some point, I guess, too.
Oh yeah, we should. Well, if Instagram gets their shit together. Right. Shout out to, I will say, so we're recording this on Tuesday the 5th. So yesterday on Monday, Facebook, Instagram, WhatsApp went down for various router reasons, whatever. Coincidentally, it was also right after a whistleblower was on 60 Minutes talking about how basically Facebook is trash and they intentionally allow hate speech and all that within their algorithms, which is true. Like whatever they try and deny, like it's very much so true. But I feel for my engineer and PM friends that work at Facebook and Instagram who had to deal with that shit. Because I've kind of had to deal with that shit when
I know it's different. Because when Spotify, when Dana's job was down, I definitely text her like, "What the fuck is going on with the app?" me and my homegirls are upset. I can't listen to anything. And then Dana like sent me back the
snapped at her and text.
And I was like, oh, I'm sorry, you're probably stressed. Okay.
She's like, podcast not working. It's upsetting me and my homegirls. Like, I'm aware.
I know. I was like, oh,
I'm aware.
I probably shouldn't have just texted her.
When the city of Chicago is in turmoil, I'm gonna be like, hey,
like, what the fuck is going on with the city of Chicago burning down or some shit? I'm like, please. I know. I know. I'm highly aware.
Yeah, but shout out to them. So yeah, we can do it IG live at some point. Definitely get some video, have some guests. Maybe we can have, and this will have to be a really good guest, have a man come on.
Oh, a male guest. Interesting.
Yeah. Because I hate when not hate, that's a strong word, but when I'm listening to podcasts or shows, and whether it's all women or when it's all men, and you can tell like they're having a conversation, but if a woman or if someone else was there, that conversation would be very, very different.
Maybe, you know, when we do the dating episode, let's bring a single guy friend on. So we can talk about how trash they are in front of their face.
Yeah. I'm pretty sure they'll have some things to, I mean, so, and again, all women are not perfect, because I talk in depth with, my brother is 3 years older than me, so mid-30s, and some of his stories about some of these women are like, oh, you need to pick better women. Like, it's I'm shocked by some of the stories that he says. But realistically, and this is now a teaser for the dating episode, realistically, I think, assuming you are for heterosexual relationships, if you're a woman, you don't actually know how women are when it comes to dating, because you don't date women, you date men. Same way with men, they don't actually know how other men are within dating because they're dating women. So a lot of the times it's like, oh, niggas be doing like, niggas be doing that.
I just had a conversation with Ruben because there was something that went viral where this girl had put the text, like some her maintenance man was like texting her. Like,
I saw that.
Yeah, and so like, and he was like, oh, I'm about to come over. And she's like, what the fuck? Like, no, I'm not interested. And then there was this another one where this girl had
the video.
Oh, the video one, yes.
The video of a guy knocking on the door.
The guy knocking on the door. Then there was this other stream of text messages from this girl who just had movers help her move into her apartment. She hired movers. And this guy is blowing up her phone, being like, oh, shawty, you so cute.
Talking to himself, yes.
Literally for lines and lines and lines. And Ruben was like, why are niggas? I'm like, do y'all not know that y'all shit, I've had Uber Eats or DoorDash people.
Oh my goodness.
Message me after I get my fucking food and be like, oh, can I get your number? You look good. Da, da, da. Like recently, like in recent years. And so now, and Ruben's like, why do you do this? Now I just tell people leave it I don't even go outside anymore. I'm like, by the door, I live alone. You know, like I have me and Telly. Yeah. Telly can fuck up somebody's ankles, but like,
big toe
and Telly. So like, you know, I just be like, leave it by the door, and Ruben be like, why don't you just meet them? Like, just meet them at the gate. Like, no.
I think it's very and even like being on dating apps, and how many times, so when I was actually dating a guy that I had met off a dating app, explaining like, do you not realize how unsafe it is, or like that, not even considering how women constantly have to consider their safety for all these crazy men, and you have to treat every man like he's a crazy man, because if you don't, it could literally cost you your life. Of like, I have a different phone number, or to your point, like not going outside. I don't open my door when I have food delivered, because I don't want, majority of the time it's a man delivering the food. Like, nope, just leave it, walk away. I have the TV on with a man's voice in the background, so it sounds like another nigga is there or another nigga is here. All of these precautions, it's like men don't,
They don't think.
I remember even trying to explain to my brother is a large dude, ex-football player, like maybe 6, not NFL, like high school. Don't get confused, but like 6'2", and I'm like trying to explain to him what it feels like to constantly be in fear of someone being able to harm you. And I'm like, you don't even know how this feels to be physically intimidated by someone.
Yeah.
Because in all his logic is like, well, people don't do that to me. People don't, because you're
a big ass man.
Yeah, so you wouldn't do that, but constantly having to worry, like, hell, I went to walk to get a manicure today, and it's like, okay, this man is walking too close to me, walking too behind. I crossed the street, just to make sure, because as it was getting darker, he was white though. I'm significantly less nervous when it's black man, but still,
I'm an equal.
Still alert.
I will
still alert.
I will have my mace ready for anybody. I don't give a fuck.
Still alert. But not trying to, but yeah. So I think it's important for like, or at least what I try to offer for my brother of like, do you realize this? Do you realize this? This is what I have to do. All the double checking, all the whatever, like how I don't go places without my friend, whatever. So safety when it comes to dating, how niggas be weird as fuck. Not even like in a harm or safety way, but just like weird in their behaviors of when they interact with women.
It's giving stalker, it's giving
it's
giving I'm gonna come back up in here and shoot her.
Or like actually your homeboy who you think got all the hoes is actually just very lame, or like an actual like
every time he texts you, he texting a girl, he's texting himself, and then he'd be like, oh man, these bitches ain't shit.
Yes, like for a man to say, oh, this girl be on my dick, look at, like, really evaluate that man and ask yourself, why would all these women be on his dick? He's lying. Because a nigga who actually have bitches on his dick don't ever have to say it.
Right. You just know.
Don't ever have to say it. So yeah, stay tuned for our dating episode, a girls' night in episode, our episode when we have a king come on, Grand Rising. I saw on Twitter, don't ever tell me Grand Rising, I am not a biscuit.
Right, yeah, I saw that too.
Woo. I also had Karen Civil as a topic to talk about.
Oh Lord, don't even get me. How long have we been talking already though?
I don't know. I never press a fucking timer.
Okay. I feel like we're talking more than an hour, so it's gonna be a nightmare for you.
It's definitely be an hour.
But yeah,
Karen, no, I figured out how to compress it.
She don't
it can be longer.
Talk about Black women. I believe everything that everybody is saying about her.
Yes.
And
and
is what it is.
And y'all, if you know, it's a lot to give context to. In Jason Lee's interview on The Breakfast Club, and we was talking about how like Karen Civil has these different contacts where she can send certain stories on certain days for like the people that she represents or whatever she actually, I don't even know what she actually does. There was an article about her and like her philanthropy, and a very positive article about her that Afrotech put out. And after watching his interview, it's like, oh, she definitely paid them to like spin this and do, to put this out. So, yeah.
Yeah, I don't know.
Anything else?
No. I mean, no, I can't think of anything else.
Oh, I hope Robert Kelly rots under the jail.
Oh, yeah.
I hope everyone in whatever facility he's in gets that ass.
But then I also, because he threatened to also explain.
I want him to air this bitch out.
Please. Let me know who I need to be.
The music industry is seedy and trash.
Out. Anybody that was participating with you, honey, yes, snitch, tell us, let us know, write a tell all. I'm not gonna buy it, but I'll read.
I'll read the articles that for the people who read it. And what I want people to brace themselves for is
your faves.
your faves, and also how many women are probably also turning a blind eye to it.
I mean,
yes,
look at the list. I mean, you have K Michelle. I mean, because people who have been close to him in recent years, like a K Michelle or the other girl who's on that show. She had a single. This is nothing. That Selena Johnson.
Oh yeah.
Who actually had a chapter 2. What was her album called? I used to listen to him growing up.
I would listen to her. It's like, oh, that's my friend. That's what it's like.
Yeah, side-eyeing.
It's like I get it. It's
people who knew.
It's difficult for you to say these bad, like have these bad thoughts about your friends, but it's also like you decided to be their friend.
Yeah.
Like
at some point, I take responsibility for that.
Yeah, and yeah, So I hope burn all that shit down. It's trash, and we'll see. But yeah, I hope he rots in hell. Selena was saying, you know, he had some things happen to him when he was a child or when he was younger, and it's like, girl, he orchestrated an entire system, evaded multiple laws of having the girls drive to certain states where this was not a, and I say this is not supporting at all Chris Brown. Maybe you could get away with saying, oh, Chris Brown was a child with an abusive relationship. So the only way, like, okay, I can comprehend that. But for what Robert motherfucking Kelly did, no.
If we're at the point where we're actually villainizing, because this is not his first trial. Let's not forget that this man was on trial for this already and evaded that and did not correct his behavior.
He doubled down on that shit.
On his behavior.
He was so like, hubris about this shit that he called himself the Pied Piper. Do people not know what a Pied Piper is? That lures children with music. Aaliyah's album "Age Ain't Nothing But a like."
That's just sick. I know I can't listen to that album. But yeah, I don't know. I just don't see the excuses. These are just rape apologists. And saying
when people go after the parents,
we're throwing black men away. Actually, no, we actually take a lot of black men out the trash that need to be there, and you have to basically be the devil or be a Bill Cosby or be a R. Kelly in order to even get fucking Dr. Dre is about to headline the fucking NFL Super Bowl. We all know he's a documented abuser. He's literally front and fucking center. We have not disposed of him. And when I say we, like, I don't support him or whatever, but we as a society have decided he has not done anything bad enough, right, quote unquote, to be canceled to a level of a Bill Cosby or a R. Kelly, and they still have very loyal fans. Yes. So do not give me that shit about, oh, we're being too hard on black men, we throw black men away. No, because also Chrisette Michele can't even fucking pay for us to hear her sing, and and really in the context, looking back, all she did.
But look at Kanye. How many people were listening to Donda?
Exactly.
But throw Chrisette Michele away.
Yeah, like let's not.
Also,
let's not play those games.
Black men can be horrible. Black women can be horrible. Like, you're not exempt. Yeah. It's not like, don't throw the race card then of like, no, we got to stick together. When you don't stick, the same people who are homophobic and transphobic to black, trans, and gay people are like, no, we black people, we got to stick together.
Right.
It doesn't make sense. It's very much so illogical. And I hope the niggas that's already in the place of where Robert Kelly going is.
Yeah, I need the names, Robert. I need the names. That may be able, I mean, it's not going to get you redemption, but at least I feel like that will be doing some good. If there's any good that comes out of this, is you exposing the names so that we can hold those people accountable too.
Yes. In reality, though, I don't like. I'm not sure. At least we'll know
out of it
because look at
we'll know.
Yeah, because look at T.I. and Tiny. I don't even know what's going on with T.I. and Tiny.
All the charges got dropped. They're good. They're in the clear.
That's a whole other. Atlanta is sitting center in a lot of this shit too, because that's a whole other thing with. Yeah. So anyway, that's our show. Thanks for listening to us for the past year. Yes, thanks for this. If you're still here at this point of the show, thank you very much for listening. I hope that when you listen to this, you feel like you're listening to two friends in your head.
We're friends in real life.
And I'm about to say, or if you are our friends, we have a little bit. I be checking our metrics a little bit. It's more than just people we know personally. So we'll see y'all at some point. We're when the next episode drops after this, we're gonna try and be consistent.
New Year,
some things.
2022 is our year for sure.
Yeah. This episode was produced by us and edited by Daner Cole. Our theme music is the track Same by Ricky Els. Be sure to check it out on all streaming platforms. For questions, comments, feedback, or topic suggestions, hit us up at queentonepod@gmail.com. Be sure to also check us out and follow on Instagram and Twitter @queentonepod. Thanks for listening.